Who wants to be a Hall of Famer?
Is that your final answer?
It's time for Who Wants to Be a Hall of Famer? We've been doing this for a week plus. We're wondering if an individual no longer plays another down, another snap, another game. No more at-bats in baseball. No more sports days for whatever reason.
Done.
Is this person a Hall of Famer based on what they've already put out there? Today's candidate for Who Wants to Be a Hall of Famer is Derrick Henry.
Ooh, wow.
136 career games played for the 31-year-old. 2,355 carries. That's 32nd all-time. His rushing yards total is 19th all-time, 11,423. He's ahead of Marshawn Lynch, Earl Campbell, and Jim Taylor. Okay. 106 touchdowns. That's tied for 6th all-time.
Yeah, that's really good.
With Jim Brown. Those who are looking up at him on the all-time list are named Marshall Faulk, Barry Sanders, Jerome Bettis, Eric Dickerson. They're in the Hall. His 99-yard single-game longest rush of his career is tied for 1st all-time with Tony Dorsett. 5-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro once, only once. 3-time second-team All-Pro. He won Offensive Player of the Year once, 2020. He's led the league in rushing 2 times, rushing touchdowns 3 times. He had the most rushing yards in a single season by a player older than 30. That just was this past year, 1,921 rush yards, beating out Tiki Barber's 1860. Tiki, as we know, is not in the Hall of Fame. His brother is. Only running back in NFL history with 2 1,900 or better rushing seasons. Rushing yard seasons, obviously. So, I'll start it. Since I put him in the Hall of Fame 3 years ago, you know what my answer is.
You did.
3 years ago, I came on this show. I might have been after he had that 99-yarder. I'm like, this dude is a Hall of Famer. And you're like, I don't know, not yet. I can't wait to hear your answer on this one now. You bet he's a Hall of Famer. It's not only he's a Hall of Famer, I've got what his bust would look like. There it is.
It's going to be a great bust.
That should be it. As you know, not many busts have a helmet on the player. They want to have just see their face, but maybe we'll just do this face.
Hopefully the
Scariest
bust has
bust ever.
Yeah, maybe it better have the braid, TJ.
You know? So you bet Derrick Henry's a Hall of Famer. He doesn't have to play another snap. He could just say, you know what, I've had enough. And I'm telling you guys, he's got 11,423 rush yards. If he keeps this thing up, you know what I mean by this. He's currently 19th on the all-time list. He will pass Steven Jackson in maybe his first drive of the season. He's only 15 yards behind him.
Yep.
Now, again, Steven Jackson's not in the Hall of Fame. He would pass Fred Taylor for 17 on the all-time list, 17th, with 270 yards.
Yeah, he'll pass Fred Taylor in like week 3 or 4, probably.
Or you know, quarter 2 of week 2. You never know. I know I'm a scrap. He should pass Thurman Thomas, Franco Harris. Let's just give him 1,000 yards rushing again this year, right?
No, I know. He goes all the way up to 11th.
He goes all the way up to, he beats Jim Brown out there.
Yeah, he'll pass Jim Brown this year.
Let's give him 1,500 yards. He's in the top 10.
Yeah. This is a big year for Derrick Henry, but I know we're talking about if he never played
By the way,
again.
yeah, all that's great, but that's
Not really our argument.
I'm saying to you all of this.
Yeah, but
that if he continues on and plays as long as, let's say, Frank Gore did, he keeps his body healthy, he keeps on chugging like he keeps on over year after year after year where we think he ain't it anymore. I don't know if Emmett's going to have to start looking in his rearview mirror.
Well, I don't want to go there.
I just did.
Well, I mean, you're really jumping the gun, but
this segment is all about jumping the gun.
No,
is
I
it
understand.
Not?
He would have to have, so Saquon Barkley's career to this point, he'd have to have that career starting now to get close to Emmett.
He needs less than 7,000 more rushing yards to get Emmett.
Yeah. Well, Saquon has 7,200 career rushing yards, so he would need Saquon's career to this point,
right,
from now moving on.
And Saquon had 2,000 of those yards just last year.
Seems unlikely.
1,000 yards a season for the next 7 seasons. And this season he's going to have more than 1,000 yards if the guy stays healthy. That's the if. He's set to have the career of careers. He's a Hall of Famer right now. Christopher, you want to chime in here?
Yeah, so when you first brought this up a couple of years ago, he was not there yet, and I wasn't sure how his career was going to age just because how big he is, the style of play he's in, the offenses, just the sheer volume of carries. That normally doesn't age well, but man, his last 3 seasons have been incredible. Led the league in carries in 22 and 23, had 325 last year. He probably could have been MVP last year if Saquon didn't have the season that he did, despite not being MVP, but he was Offensive Player of the Year. 325 carries, 1,900 yards last year, led the NFL in touchdowns. He's absolutely a Hall of Famer if he never played right now. He has I know we don't talk about him a lot for all the other stuff, but he has a very similar career as O.J. Simpson, and he's already has more rushing yards than him, more rushing yards than John Riggins, who's obviously an all-time great. Derrick Henry is outstanding. He may be all 3 levels, high school, college, NFL, the greatest running back ever in that aspect. He's awesome. I love him. Absolutely Hall of Famer.
All right, TJ, you want to make it a clean sweep? Have we had a clean sweep yet? I don't think so.
No, we disagreed on Tyreek yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, look, what I said earlier, all those stats you were giving me, if I was, ifs. This game doesn't count in ifs. We're talking about today. As of 10:11 a.m. today on July 1st, would he be a Hall of Famer? Not if he averages this, that, and the third.
Right.
Yeah, the only 2 guys above him rushing-wise that are not, or 4 guys, I'm sorry, Fred Taylor, Steven Jackson, Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson. Are all 4 of those guys going in?
I think Adrian Peterson does.
AD gets in, Gore gets in. Do Fred Taylor and Steven Jackson?
Fred Taylor's been a finalist recently, but he probably won't get in. Neither will Steven Jackson, but he's better than both those players.
Now, the fact is he's accomplished more in 9 years than
They're only above him because I know it's about today. I know it's about today.
So make a long story short, first ballot, no, but yes, if Derrick Henry never played another down of football as of July 1st today, at some point he would get in the Hall of Fame, yes, but not as a first ballot.
Okay. So we just did a clean sweep. He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. So when the Ravens take the field in Buffalo on the first Sunday night of the season, you could say there's a Hall of Fame running back on the field right now.
I think so. Yeah.
But also,
you
Rich,
could, for sure.
Now, doing your game where you're looking ahead, like
yardage-wise. I did the math here.
It's a fun look ahead. Yeah.
If you take his lowest yards per season over the last 3 seasons and you divided that or added that for 3 years, he'd end up with almost 15,000 yards rushing over the next 3 seasons. So that would place him
of his last 7 seasons, only 1 were less than 1,000 yards, and he played 8 games in that year and had 937 rush yards. He averaged 117 rush yards per game.
Yep.
So there's a good chance that he's going to crack. He'll definitely crack the top 5.
There's no question.
Even
at the
if
end
he
of the day,
just gets 1,000 yards in the next 3 seasons.
If he plays 5 more seasons and averages 1,300 rush yards.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that far.
Hold on a second. Over his last, I know that.
I don't like this result.
He's had, as a 30-year-old, he had 1,921 rush yards. As a 28-year-old, he had 1,538. As a 26-year-old, that's when he joined the 2,000-yard club. As a 25-year-old, he had 1,540. Okay? If he averages over the final 5 years of his career 1,386 rush yards, he passes Emmitt Smith. He's in hailing distance. We never thought we would talk about that sort of thing.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, I understand why. I get it.
I want that record to stand.
And
but
it just shows you how incredible that record is that we're talking about Derrick Henry in this position as he's turning, 31.
And also, Rich, we talk about his longevity. We've seen the way the man turns down cake, Chris. He told us about his diet, the things he keeps himself in extraordinary conditions.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason to believe that his body wouldn't be able to hold up for the next 5 years, just based upon the way the man eats and trains and does it.
When we spoke to him 2 weeks ago, he seemed engaged.
Yeah.
even just playing the 75%. Let's play 75% rule. He gets 75% of his previous year's yardage in the next 3 years. That's 3,300 more total yards. That puts him at 14,700. That puts him just behind Adrian Peterson for 5th all time.
Yeah. And just one last thing on me pounding this drum. 1,386 yards. If he gets over that this year, the average number of yards he needs in the final 5 years of his career goes down to get Emmett. And the last time he had 1,167 in his last year in Tennessee. That was that's his lowest. That's the lowest amount of his career playing all the games, and he does have another game to do.
And that's where
he got another game to go. And I know
his lowest average.
And I know he's got another game in the regular season to add to it that Emmett didn't have.
Yeah, I'll be using that in my arguments for sure.
136 games played right now, and he's 19th all time. This dude is a Hall of Famer, man. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.